Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and begin our meeting. Welcome to our June 11th Waynesboro Area School District Meeting Board of Directors meeting. Please stand for the pledge. Did have an executive session to discuss safety and security of our district. Let's start our meeting with roll call.
Mr. Marvin is absent today. Mr. Hamburger,
Here.
Mrs. Miles,
Here.
Mrs. Fortney,
Here.
Mr. Pence,
Here.
Mrs. Zimmerman,
Here.
Mrs. Straight is absent today. Dr. Royer is absent today. Mr. Smith,
Present. Okay, thank you. And first, we will have, can we have a motion to approve our agenda for tonight?
So move. Second.
Okay, any questions or additions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Smith. We're practicing again. and
We'll slow
She's
it.
got the ring, so.
Thank you. We'll slow the pace. Thank you.
So slowly.
Okay, you should be able to see your vote now.
Yep.
Okay, so next we move to approval of our minutes. And this is from the May 28th meeting. Do we have a motion for approval of our May 28th minutes?
Move to approve. Second.
Questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I apologize. Who was first on, who was the motion on that?
Me.
Him?
Linda.
Who's second? You did
And
second.
Ms. Zimmerman? I apologize. Your voting should be open.
Yep.
Thank you. And next we move to our superintendent's report, Dr. Sternerheim.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. So just want to say huge congratulations to our class of 2024. I think it was an absolutely perfect evening. I've had the privilege to participate in several graduations, and I thought the weather was perfect, the setup was perfect, and a big thank you to all the faculty and staff for all the preparation. I know it takes a tremendous amount of work. We were able to do an admin retreat this past week and had a lot of fun, did some team building as well as the ability to do some reflection on the 2023-24 school year, as well as set some goals for next school year. Summer buildings are being cleaned at this point. So summer has officially started, summer school as well as the summer literacy and math camp. And just want to offer my condolences to the Floor family. Kathy Floor, who was a longtime secretary of Maori Elementary, who I had the privilege of working with, also served as a paraeducator. She passed away last week, so I want to offer condolences to that family. So she was a great employee. She will be missed.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, do we have any public comment this evening?
I was not given any.
No public comment? Okay. So now we move to sort of our highlight for this evening, our spring student recognitions. And who will do the honors to start us this evening?
Miss Swicky.
Mrs. Swicky?
Yes, come on down.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the board, Dr. Sternerheim, Dr. DeShong, for having me here this evening. It is my honor and privilege to head up the middle school and high school REACH program in our school district. And for those of you that are new to the board, REACH is our gifted program and our gifted students. I'm here to recognize, and it is a long list, and I'm very proud that it's a long list, and I hope you stick with me through this long list. but we had a highly successful year. Um, you're going to hear from many different people tonight. I actually head up 9 teams, 9 academic teams throughout the year for both our middle school and our high school. Those 9 teams are consistent of less than 50 students that I have in 7th through 12th grade. And not all students have to do competitions. They can choose to do those when we set up their annual GIEPs in the fall. A lot of the kids very much enjoy them. They enjoy going outside the district and matching their wits with students that are like-minded and have the same abilities and talents as they do. I'm very proud to say we have multiple state winners that I'm going to present to you tonight, regional winners. We have some that are still pending to see whether or not they're national winners. And Waynesboro has grown to be a program that when I take our students somewhere, they are highly thought of. They are scared of us a little bit. I'll put it in those terms. Waynesboro is here again. Waynesboro always does well. And it wasn't always that way. So it's been a program that I've become very, very proud of. And the students that I'm going to recognize tonight, they deserve a lot of recognition for the hours, the months, the travel, and all the time that they put into doing as well as they did. So I'm going to announce a few things that are not up on the screen, and then I will name the students and have them come down. The first thing I'm going to do is a list that's not up there, because we actually had 16 students in the Waynesboro Area School District win at a state level competition this year. So I wanted to have all 16 of them come down and stand behind me so that you can just see who they are. And then you'll see them recognized as I go through the list. So whether it was a Science Olympiad event or a scholastic art competition or whatnot. I know not all the students are here, but this is the list. So we have Caden Shakru, Tyler Rooney, Isabella Bupp, Macy Bittner. And Macy's worried she's gonna make a lot of noise. She's got 4 medals around that neck that she's walking down here with. Brenna Hollingsworth. I think Brenna has 5. So she's gonna chatter as well. Will Stein, Chase Neuler, Ava Moats, Anissa Minnick, Dylan Hull, Chloe Shakru, Emma Coulter, Kieran Clay, Kyle Swanson, Peter Childers, and Oliver Garraway. So not all 16 are here, but these are the 16 students that won at a state level competition this year. I think they deserve a round of applause. Right over here, okay. The second list, which isn't up there, and then I will get to the list as they are shown, is I know Mr. McElwam likes to recognize students that are multiple sport athletes. Okay, we have multiple academic athletes as well. So I wanted to recognize these students, and I am going to do them in reverse order. I already recognized this one student at 8th grade graduation, but I definitely want to give her a shout out again tonight. So these are the students that placed in more than one event at either a regional or a state competition. So Oliver Garraway, and Oliver, you can just stand. Jaden Rooney. Jaden, you can come on down and join the group. Peter Childers. Jaden Gua. Nate Friedman. Ava Moats. Will Stein. And Ava and Will, they start a group that won in 5 different events. Kyle Swanson and Chloe Shakru, Caden Shakru, and Anissa Minnick, they also placed in 5 events. And then we have the top of the heap, so as I call it, we have Macy Bittner, who placed in 6 events. And then the best student, the highest performing student of this year, an 8th grader at the middle school, we have Brenna Hollingsworth, who placed in 8 events. All right, so now we'll get to the certificates and the list that you see on the board, and I know that they're behind you. Just going to very quickly give you a little bit of background here so you know exactly what the situation is. So Science Olympiad, we have both a middle school and a high school team that I supervise. The Science Olympiad has 23 different events every year, and those events, most of the time, are not the same. So we're prepping for new events every year. You have 2 or 3 people on each team that go into each event. Teams must qualify for the state level competition. You can't qualify as an individual. So when you hear from the track and field coach, like the pole vaulters that were able to move on individually, you can't do that with the Science Olympiad team. You have to qualify as an entire team. There were 72 districts around the state this year that competed for the Science Olympiad. Our district won 40 medals in the Science Olympiad. 17 of those were regional medals for the Division B team, and 10 of those were regional medals for the C division team, B being the middle school and 9th grade, and C being the high school students 10th through 12th. Then we went to states and we won 13 state medals with our B division team. So I'm going to call these students out, and if they are here, they can come up and get their medals. And I am going to start with, just because it's at the top of the list and I kind of planned it this way, we do have the reigning state champions in one of our Science Olympiad events. So, you know, when you travel somewhere and if you ever played sports, you know, there's the perennial powerhouses and there's things, you know, you never want to, if you didn't beat this team, you probably didn't win. And we're sitting there and the top 10 finishers at the state level get medals. And we kept listening and listening and listening, and none of us thought we won. And then boom, Crime Busters, first place, Waynesboro Middle School. I actually started to cry. I was so proud of them. But that was Caden Shakru, who I know is not here, and Tyler Rooney. We have Isabella Bupp. I know Isabella's not here. We have Kyle. Kyle won 3 medals at the regionals, 2nd in wind power, 4th in forensics, and 4th in code buster. I don't believe TJ is here, but I'm going to take a look. We have Jaden Rooney, who was 4th place medal in forensics. Mary Schlotterbeck isn't here. Peter Childers is not here. I have one of my seniors, very sad, but I'm glad I get to see her tonight. I didn't want her to leave. Gabrielle Strasser, who won 5th place in micro mission. And then last on that C division team for washes was Nevaeh Debrick. She's not here either. So that moves on to our B division team. Now, this was the team that also qualified and went on to states. So there are a lot more medals listed up there if you want to look at them. We'll start out with Macy Bittner. So we have anatomy and physiology, 2nd in regionals, 7th at the state level. Disease detectives, 3rd in regionals, and then Write It, Do It, 4th place at the state competition. Brenna Hollingsworth, she was Macy's partner in anatomy and physiology, so 2nd at the regionals and 7th at states. She was also her disease detectives partner, her Write It, Do It partner. These two are a pair. They're a wonderful pair, and I'm glad I get to have them for many, many more years to go. And then she also placed 4th in Rhodes Scholar at regionals. Next, we have Will Stein. Will won 1st in ecology at regionals, then 5th place at states, and he also placed 3rd in forestry at regionals. Chase Neuler, 4th place in Rhodes Scholar at regionals, 4th place in wind power at regionals, and then he took that knowledge and won 4th place at states in wind power. I know that Ava is not here. Richard is not here. Morgan is not here. Nate is not here. Move down to Jaden. Jaden won 8th place in micro admission at regionals and then competed at the state level. Even though he didn't win a medal at that level, he did compete there as well. And then do I have Cade, Brody, or Dahlia here? Okay. That finishes up our Science Olympiad teams. We will go ahead and move on to, give me 1 second here to switch gears. We're now moving on to Scholastic Art and Writing. Scholastic Art and Writing has 11 writing categories, 16 art categories. In our region, we have 70 school districts, and on the average, there are anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 entries. If you win a gold key in your region, you advance to nationals, and that's what we're waiting to hear back on at this point. We had several gold key winners, and their work went on to nationals, and we have had national recognition for our Scholastic Art and Writing students before. So as a district in total, we had 21 awards, 11 at the middle school, 10 at the high school. 6 of those were gold, 4 were silver, and we had 11 honorable mentions. So we will go ahead and present those. I don't believe Anissa is here. But Anissa won 2 gold keys, so she's anxiously waiting back to see if she won anything at the national level and a silver key. I do know Dylan is here. Dylan, come on down. Dylan won a gold key for flash fiction called The Woods. Then we have Chloe Shakru, and I'm not sure the Shakru's were able to make it, but she won a gold key as well as an honorable mention, 2 honorable mentions. I know Zoe is not here, and Zoe won 3 awards for the high school. And then for the middle school, we once again have Brenna Hollingsworth. Brenna won 2 gold keys, one for dramatic script and one for flash fiction. She also then won a silver key for a separate flash fiction. So she's competing against herself and still won 2 awards. So congratulations. I don't believe Elizabeth is here, but Elizabeth won a silver key and 3 honorable mentions. We have Macy, who won an honorable mention. Again, competing against herself, she submitted 2 critical essays. One, we did a debate on the benefits of zoos, which was awesome, by the way. I wish everybody could have seen that debate. Very, very well prepared. And then we do some short stories, some reading, and she did a response to The Veldt by Ray Bradbury. And then I know Nate is not here. Nate won 2 honorable mentions as well. So that takes us on to our PA Media and Design winners. Just a little background on PA Media and Design. There are 6 different categories in PA Media and Design. This year, there were 25 districts and 3 career or technical schools that competed at regionals and IU12. And I do like to include those career and technical schools because when you get into technology and these type of events, sometimes they are your toughest competition. Those are the kids that have had all that background and training. There are 29 IUs across Pennsylvania, so when you get to the state level, you're competing against 29 of those IUs. And this year we had 6 awards. 1 that came from the middle school, 4 that came from WASHs, and then we had 1 state level winner. So I don't believe any of these students are here, unfortunately, but I'll read the list. So we had Aiden Hess, who won the regional competition for logo and graphic design. Anissa Minnick, who also won for her digital movie, Addiction, A Deadly Game. And she placed third at states with that competition, or with that project as well. We had Jordan Banky, who placed third for her 3D design. She made a keyboard for the blind. Her mother is one of the science teachers here at the high school, and we tested it out. It worked beautifully. She actually had somebody come and ask her about possibly mass producing it for their school at the competition. Then we also had Chloe Shakru, third place at regionals, and Landon Kipe, who was my one middle school student. He was the only one that competed for the middle school. And he's my first programming award. Programming is very, very difficult. He's learning to code in Python from a very early age and was able to code a project. That takes us to our math competitions. And we have two separate ones. We run one at the high school, which is called PA Math League, and then we have one at the middle school, which is called Math Olympiad. This year we were beat for first place in our region by just 2 points. So I believe it was 128 to 126. But the top 5 people on our team is how you get your score. So I'm just recognizing all 5 of those students tonight. So if they're here, they could come up and get their certificate. He's our president, and he also led our team with the highest score. So that's Kyle Swanson. Jaden Rooney. Oliver Garraway. Hayden Shakru. And Jaden Leach. Unfortunately, none of them are seniors. They'll all be back. Hayden's actually a freshman, so that team is in good position to do well again next year. Then for our Math Olympiad team, they take the top 10 students. Unfortunately, this year we didn't place as a team, but we did have a student who your best score is a 25. He got 23 out of 25. So out of 90,000 students that competed in Math Olympiad this year, he was in the top 1,800 of that 90,000. So that would be Jaden. Come on down. And then that takes us on to our Quiz Bowl teams, which hopefully you've been updated all year long on our Brain Busters team, which is our high school Quiz Bowl team. We had a phenomenal season. We had won 2 episodes before. We doubled that this year. So we did twice as good as we've ever done before. These students each won, or excuse me, as a team, they won $1,000. And as a team and as their captain, their advisor or whatever, we decided that with that $1,000, we were going to give each of the students a $200 scholarship when they graduate. So our captain this year was Emma Coulter. She graduated this year, so she was the first recipient of that $200. And we'll just continue to give that out. And hopefully some of these other students that are on this list, we might be able to give them more, because if we win again, then we could just add to that total, which would be great. And I think these are in, I just need to shift the order here. I'm sorry. Okay. And I know that Emma's not here, but she was our captain again. Kieran Clay, Kyle Swanson, Peter Childers, and Oliver Garraway. And I'm going to go here with Mr. Hardman and say I don't like Hempfield because Hempfield 2 beat us too. So I'm like, they're athletic and they're smart, but that's how we are too. So, um, I did watch the finale. It was on Sunday night. I don't know if anybody caught it, but Hempfield, who had beat us in the semifinals, went against Ephrata, and believe it or not, guys, Ephrata won by 25 points. It wasn't a big spread, but they did win by 25 points. That takes us to our middle school quiz bowl team. Now, both the 8th grade and the 7th grade compete as separate teams. They get the same questions, but they do it at different times. 100 questions, answer it as fast as you can. You get bonus points. So to win, you don't normally have 1,000 points. You got to have somewhere between 1,200, 1,300 points to be able to win. So the team that I'm going to announce to you now placed in both the fall competition and the spring. So we are national champions from the fall. We beat Eagle View Middle School, and the kids know how important that is to me, right? That's Cumberland Valley, by the way. And then in the spring, they are the only team to repeat. So there was no other team that also won in the fall and in the spring. In the spring, we came in 3rd place. Unfortunately, there's no money. We get a nice little light bulb trophy, and they get little ribbons. But so I'm going to announce this team, and I don't know how many of the kids are here. So Zach McCallum. And I'm going to give Zach some extra recognition because he puts extra pressure on his shoulders because he submits the answers. So if it's like, oh, it's B, no, it's D, oh, it's B. And he's got to put in the right thing and not do it too soon. And he does an excellent job with that. The kids really trust him. We have Ray Schlotterbeck, Ava Moats, Nate Friedman. Jaden, get up here again. Did you go back to your seat again? And then we also have Morgan Jones, Jace Kopko, and I know Will sat up here for me. And last but not least, at the bottom here is something called the First Light publication. And I did want to recognize that because not many students get published in that, and it is something that they do locally. So First Light is run by Dr. Neil Connolly. He's a professor of English at Shippensburg University. And 25 school districts submitted writing this year for that. And we had 2 students win first place for their prose. So Chloe Shakru with her story Ablaze in the Throne Room, and then Gavin, who was one of my seniors, who I'll leave you with this thought. Gavin was not a writer when I first met him. If anybody knows Gavin, Gavin's tried many, many, many different things over the years before he graduated. And he just pops in my room one day and he said, guess what, Mrs. Swicky? He goes, I went hunting the other day. And he said, I saw this coyote and it did this. And then I saw this dove and it did this. And he goes, I was so inspired. I came home, wrote a story. And that was the story. And I mean, it's just little things like that that really touch my heart and touch my soul. So you can have students that win medals and you can have them do all kinds of things. But I think when you inspire a student, that's really where everything comes down. And so I'm extremely proud of these kids. I'm just going to put a little plug in there. I wish we had more gifted students in our district. I wish I had more that I could work with, but I love the ones that I do get to work with. Please continue to support them. Remember that they are students, even though they are bright, they need leadership, they need guidance, they need opportunities to be able to shine. So thank you very much for having us this evening.
To all of our Reach Scholar Award recipients. What a range that we're looking at. We could have the range goes from poets to graphic designers to scientists and journalists, and what else do we have? So that's quite a range. And several of you participated in a variety of different things as well. So Congratulations to you. And the goal of a district, and especially leadership of a district, is to make sure that when you leave, that you're not only competitive with students around the United States, but you're competitive with kids around the world. And so that's our mission and that's our goal. And we thank you. And you already get it. You understand that what you are learning in the classroom, you're able to put it to use. You're actually putting it to use. You're being creative with it. So that's a beautiful thing. We appreciate you sharing that with us. Next, we move to uh, spring sports. Come on down.
All right. Well, again, I'm Eric, the athletic director, and before we get into our teams, I just want to give you a quick overview of our athletic programs. I'll keep it brief, I promise. In May, we did do a Quad A presentation, which is athletic academic achievements. And, you know, we always talk about student athletes. We always talk about the things that we do, you know, out on the fields. We see those results, you know, oh, our football team did this, oh, our swim team did this, our track team did this. We highlight our academic success. And again, I kind of touched briefly on this our last time we met, but now that we have finished school, we have all the numbers. So I want to give those to you. So we have 23 varsity athletic teams here at the high school. All 23 teams, their total GPA average made honor roll. 21 out of the 23 teams had a GPA higher than 90. Our volleyball team had the highest GPA. They had a team GPA average of 96.97. All 100% of those girls made honor roll. So they're doing it in the classroom. Just to give you an idea, in the fall of our athletes, 91% of them made honor roll. In the winter, 85% of all of our high school athletes made honor roll. And in the spring, 86% of all of our athletes made honor roll. And that's a testament not only to the student athletes and the teachers, but also to our coaches and staying on top of them and keeping them responsible because they got to be eligible in order to compete. And just to give you an average, the average non-student athlete here at Washes getting honor roll is 34%. So athletics does make a difference, and I thank you for that. On the fields and on the courts and the pools and the mats, overall, our teams this year for varsity were 148 and 103, which is solid. And you may or may not know, we got reclassified this past cycle. So what they do for the PIAA is every 2 years, they do a classification. They base it on your enrollment numbers between 9th and 11th grade. And so we bumped up from a 5A classification to a 6A classification, which puts us in is the largest classification we can have. So we're about 8 kids over on the boys side into that 5. So we're competing with a Reading High School who's graduating, what is it, like 2,000 kids per class, Chambersburg, Cumberland Valleys, those are all our classifications. So, and then you'll see that some of our competition now is different because you kind of work it on classification. So it's to go 148 and 103 for our varsity level teams is pretty exciting. We had 3 teams that went undefeated this past year. We won 4 championships across the board. I'm not going to steal any of the thunder from my coaches, but I just want to say that. And our coaches and our kids and the parents, they're working year round. You can see them. You can come in here any day of the week and you'll see we have multiple teams in the weight room, multiple teams out on our fields. And our coaches are very dedicated and they do a great job with our teams. And we just thank you for all the support that you give us year in and year out. So with that being said, our first team that we're going to have up, I'm going to ask Coach Hardman to come down and he can talk to you about his championship baseball team.
Thank you, Mr. Macklem. I have 3 of our 5 seniors that represented our team this year, and they were co-champions with Shippensburg. We posted an overall record of 15-7 in the division and 11-3. And the other 2 seniors couldn't be here tonight because they're at the beach. But I want to mention these 3 seniors. Let's talk about the team a little bit more first. We did make a postseason bid into the district playoffs. We won the opening round here against Cumberland Valley 1-0. And then we went to Red Line and we defeated Red Line 6-2 in the district quarterfinals. And then we lost to Hempfield, and they'll be playing in the state championship on Friday. Mason Gokenauer, this gentleman right here, he made Mid-Penn Conference Colonial Division first team. And I won't spit out a bunch of statistics and things like that. Like baseball is all about statistics. But I will mention one stat, and he pitched 8 complete games, which is pretty incredible for a pitcher at the high school level. Earned 7 wins for his team in those 8 complete games with 3 shutouts. So that was Mason. He is attending Mount Aloysius, and he taught me that Mount Aloysius is the highest elevated college in the state of Pennsylvania. So that's a little fun fact. And he spent a lot of time in Marla Smith's office, not only being treated, but also probably learning a lot off of her because he is studying athletic training at Mount Aloysius. And then directly behind me, Kellen Smith. I don't want to block him too much, but Kellen is attending Frederick Community College. He hit just under 300, and probably his most impressive stat in center field is he committed 0 errors on defense. So very solid in the outfield. And he is just general studies at the moment at Frederick Community College this fall. And then to my left, to your right, Seth Dodson. Seth, in relief, he was our go-to guy at the end of the season. He came back from a car accident at the beginning of the season and didn't miss a stride when he pitched for us at the end. In relief, he earned 3 wins. He was 3-0, earned run average of under 1, which is incredible as well. And he was a big reason we beat that Red Line team in the state quarterfinals. So just want to give these seniors behind me a round of applause. Thank you.
All right, next up, I'm going to ask Coach Troy Whitty for our girls softball team to come on down and talk about his team.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm, and thank you, board, for giving me the opportunity to coach these fine young ladies this year. Our season wasn't as good as the baseball guys, but we competed very well. Like Eric said, we played 6A schools, so we ended up 8-12, which is okay. Not as good as I wanted, but we competed very well. We lost a couple one-run games. We won a couple one-run games, lost some in the 7th, so we competed very well. But these young ladies here are the reason we competed very well. Lydia and Zoe. Zoe's my only senior here tonight. She's going to be graduating, going to Penn State to continue her education and softball career. These young ladies here is Lydia is going to be a junior. Emma's going to be a sophomore. She just finished her freshman year as a varsity softball player. So Zoe and Lydia, second team Mid-Penn. Lydia batted .395 this year with 6 home runs. So she contributed a lot to a lot of good wins for us and hit the ball very well. Zoe was batting over 400. She was our leadoff hitter and played first base and played all year with 1 error at first base, which was very good for us. And then Emma, our freshman, came in this year batting .442 with 32 hits as a freshman. So that's a very good asset for our team in the future too coming. So we've lost 5 seniors and we still got a good crew with us. So we're young. We should be able to compete very well again next year. Hopefully do a little bit better, get a good chance at making districts. So I just want to congratulate these ladies on their accomplishments and thank you very much.
All right, next up, Coach Rickett works the night shift, so we have a couple of our assistant coaches will be here. They want to come on down to introduce our award-winning track team.
Good evening. I'm Coach Swink, assistant coach for sprinters and hurdlers on the track team. I'm joined by Amy Dennis, who is our throwing coach, assistant coach for track and field, and also Tom Lowry, assistant coach for pole vault for the track and field team. We want to thank you for having us here tonight to recognize the track and field student athletes and also for all that you do all year for the district. The track team had a very successful season, both guys and girls. The guys team finished 3-3 on the year with wins over Boiling Springs, Big Springs, and James Buchanan. The girls team finished a perfect 6-0. They were undefeated and division champs. In total, the track team this year had a roster of 145 athletes, with 26 of them being seniors. We had an excellent group of seniors they were. Both groups of athletes, guys and girls, were outstanding to work with throughout the season. They were eager to learn and devoted to working hard. We have a few athletes that we would like to recognize individually here tonight. Some of them were not able to attend while others were able to attend while others were not due to obligations, but we'll recognize all of the athletes nevertheless. We had 12 athletes qualify this year for districts. This is the most athletes that we have had qualify for districts in quite some time. It's quite an accomplishment for our athletes to qualify. District 3 in track and field is extremely large. It's composed of 74 teams on the guys and girls side, spanning from here in Franklin County to as far north as Juniata County to as far east as Berks County. We had 2 jumpers, 2 throwers, 2 pole vaulters, one of which also qualified as a sprinter, 2 hurdlers, and 3 more sprinters who all qualified for districts. We also then had 2 of our athletes qualify and compete at the state level as well. So for our district qualifiers, Grant Thompson qualified for triple jump. Grant could not be here tonight. Jada Dockman qualified both for long jump and for high jump. She also could not be here. Ben Williams, for the second time, qualified in javelin for districts, and he was a first-time qualifier in shot put and discus. Katie Baker qualified this year for districts in discus. Cameron Bonner qualified in pole vault. Preston Hammond qualified in 2 events, the 100-meter and the 200-meter dash. Sierra Ray, who is here tonight, qualified for the 300 hurdles. One down, Sierra. We also had a 4x100 meter relay team. It was composed of Natalia Anderson, Lainey Payton, Gracie French, and Jada Krieger qualify for districts this year in the 4x100 meter. Come on down, girls. In addition to Gracie French being a part of the 4x100 meter relay team, she also qualified last year in the 200-meter dash. Since we're still talking about Gracie, it is certainly worth noting here that this year our 4x400 meter relay team of Sierra Ray, Gracie French, Allie Briegel, and True Benshoff broke an existing school record of 4:11.97 that was set back in 1996 by Julie Maceras, Aubrey Dick, Julie Stempfy, and Heidi Marks. Their new school record is now 4:11.96. We beat it by 1/100th of a second. So, in addition to the 4x100 meter relay team, Jada Krieger was also a district qualifier this year in the open 100 meter dash, finishing 11th in the district. And also she was a district qualifier in pole vault, finishing 5th overall at districts, which qualified her then for states. Jada also broke the existing pole vault school record this year of 10 foot 7 inches. This record had been held by Rachel Johnson since 2016. Jada then went on to break her own record several more times this year. Jada's final current school record now sits 11 foot 6 inches. Jada also qualified for districts in 2021, anchoring the 4x100 meter relay team, and in 2023 qualifying in the open 100 meter dash, and as well as pole vault. Very good, Jada. True Benshoff was a district qualifier this year in the 300 hurdles, this year placing 5th overall in districts that qualified her for states. True finished her career as a 3-time district qualifier, finishing 5th this year, 2nd in the district in 2022, and 7th in 2023. And True also was a 2-time state qualifier. Congratulations, True. In closing, Go ahead. In closing, we want to thank all of our track and field athletes and thank you for all of your hard work, your commitment, your accomplishments, and putting up with your coaches and for all the memories we created along the way. And for our seniors, best of luck in all your future endeavors. And you know where the track is. Come and see us. Thank you.
Yeah, with 148 athletes out there for high school, and then we have another 50 plus for the middle school. So if you ever get out there after school during the spring, you can see well over 200 track athletes out there practicing every day. It's a pretty cool thing. Also note Jada Krieger was also named our female athlete of the year for her accomplishment. She was a all-star for volleyball. She was a district qualifier. It's a first-year diver ever, and then obviously a state qualifier. So that's some pretty good stuff. One last thing before I go, we do recognize our three-star athletes, meaning our athletes that do 3 sports. And this is the highest year that we had. We had 41 high school athletes that participated in 3 sports. So even though we're a 6A school, we kind of have a small town mentality, and we need to get everybody involved in as many things as we can. And again, thank you for everything you guys do for Waynesboro Area School District. Go Borough.
All right, so I am going to celebrate the accomplishments of our band and choir members this year. I had the privilege of joining them on the Nashville trip. You haven't lived until you've done an escape room with a group of boys, but we made it. We made it out. So I think is first up band or choir. Okay. So we had several students that were selected for Franklin and Fulton County Band. And then from there, they audition again and have the opportunity to make district band, which is encompassing several different counties. So for county band, not exactly sure who all is here today. Maybe one. Hello. So we had, I'll let you read the names that are up there, and you're going to remind me what your name. This is Oliver, right? Okay. I knew that one. So Oliver, I don't remember what instrument you play. Bassoon. It's quite a challenging instrument with the double reed. Nice job. Here's your... And Anna was the student who won the concerto competition, which then allowed her the opportunity at the spring concert to perform a solo piece with the band. And then we also had several students that qualified for county chorus. And I think Mr. Venza would appreciate me and also stating that they were all very close to making district chorus. And he's very hopeful we will have students that qualify for that next year. So Oliver, are you a singer as well? No, I was not a singer either. All right, so thank you for continuing to support our musical endeavors. And connected to that, we are up for Willy Wonka in the spring for the all-school production. Not to be confused with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is not the same musical, apparently.
Here's is that most of our audience has left, so congratulations to all. Oliver, we can take a photo. Please don't feel obligated to stay.
All righty, okay. So, no student board report tonight? No Alexis? Mary? Okay, all right, so we move on to board reports. Anything from policy?
Dr. Royer is not
Not
here,
here.
but the policy committee will be meeting on June 18th at 1 o'clock.
Okay, and academic?
September is our next meeting.
September, good.
September, okay. Facilities is not meeting this month, and I don't know if we put a July
Yes, sir,
date.
July 16th.
July 16th is the next facilities meeting, 5:30.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And budget?
No meeting this month.
No meeting.
Probably no meeting planned until September, October.
To September, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Welcome.
All right, let's keep it moving. Uh, First item of business is motion, we have personnel. Dr. DeShawn?
Yes, sir. Thank you. We have 3 resignations, 1 support staff release, 2 cafeteria reassignments, and 1 support staff and 1 summer maintenance appointment we are seeking your approval for.
Okay, so motion to approve personnel is listed.
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Your vote should be open. Okay.
Okay, next we have a tenure item. Is there a motion to approve the tenure item?
So move.
Or,
Second.
go ahead, you want to, let's.
You want-
give us
Well,
a-
hey, yeah, guys, so there's 16 names on there who have completed 3 years of satisfactory service in the public schools of the Waynesboro School District, and they have earned tenure and shall be provided a professional employment contract. So we're seeking your approval for these 16 folks for tenure.
Okay, so we have a motion.
Are you logged in, Kim?
Is there a motion? We've already,
We already did.
okay, any concerns, questions? No? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh. That's.
Yeah. Artist.
At one time, I don't. Okay, next we have the Borough of Waynesboro's use of WASD's handheld and portable metal detectors. Who will present?
So thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Just requesting board's permission to allow the borough to borrow our handheld and as well as portable metal detectors for the course of the summer. So recommendation that we partner with the borough and allow them to borrow these items.
Okay, is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I would just like to note it's good to see that we're all working together.
Mhm.
We're all one big community here.
Yes,
Yep, absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, the intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the borough for snow removal and other winter maintenance. Dr. Holtzman?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Smith. And kind of following off of Mr. Hamburger's statement about intergovernmental cooperation, if you remember, the borough was actually able to put the walking trail in, or walking path in for our section, which connects to the walking trail. Probably saved us at least $40,000, I would say, maybe even more. So again, that was a great example of being able to work together. As part of that, we actually, we did clear snow with their approval last year. We did clear snow on the walking trail section, really between our path and the development that's behind the high school there. We were just waiting for this agreement to kind of come to fruition. It's been reviewed by both solicitors. So really, this is just approval for us to go ahead and maintain that when it is snow and ice in that area. That way the students can walk safely to and from the back part of the community. It's not really much more work for us because we're already going down clearing that trail itself. So just to continue down. And we're only doing the section between the path that goes to the development and our walking path.
Mhm.
So, and I'm sorry, I'm using path and trail interchangeably, but it's a little confusing. I apologize.
Thank you. Motion is to approve the agreement with the borough for snow removal.
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions? Comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Next, the LIEP contract that Dr. Holzman,
No, I
Oh,
believe
that's-
it's me.
Dr. Sternheim.
Sure. So this is a annual renewal of a service contract with the LIU. In there. There was an explanation that Ms. States had sent. So essentially it is an agreement with the LIU for language from the perspective of English language learners services. And essentially what it allows us to do is partner with the LIU to service our L students.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the language instruction educational program and contract with LIU?
If I understand it, this is just basically continuing service.
Sure.
Right? So-
And services as needed.
So moved.
Second.
The content is listed under the admin section. I'm not sure, maybe you're not logged in, that might be why you wouldn't be able to see
Okay.
it.
Oh,
But the
can you-
board member should be able to
I
see
can see
that.
that, yes.
Right, so it's in the admin section. I'm in the
Sorry.
public section, by the way, so I'll get into the admin at this point. Thank you. No wonder I
Okay.
couldn't see the actual motion. Appreciate it.
Any additional questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we move to the Civic Solutions Group agreements. Dr. Osman.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this is really, they're statewide agreements that school districts have to participate with if they want to take advantage of medical access. So we are one of those districts that do apply for medical access funding, and we do that through our services. In order to do that and apply for the revenues coming back in, we have to use this process here. We have to use these two agreements essentially, or we would have to theoretically find some other provider that can do that for us. We've been doing this for many years. Obviously, we just typically follow the state contract with these. Medical access normally is probably about $150,000 revenue for us every year. Although this year it's probably double that because we're actually able to use that for those vans. Remember, we had 2 vans that we were able to do. So we're actually able to pull in a little bit more than 300,000 this year out of medical access. Really good for us. Helps us out a good bit. So again, there's standard agreements and contracts that come in from the state. They change this up sometimes every year, sometimes every couple of years to new vendors as well.
Okay. So the motion is to approve the agreement with Civic Solutions Group.
So moved.
Second.
And any questions for Dr. Holzman? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
I do have a question on the LEA agreement.
Okay.
What the heck is a random moment time study?
Sure, that's we're actually it's a great question. It's literally where it's almost like what it sounds like when I explain to you, it's going to click very fast. And that is, it's literally somebody who has to take and measure the time it takes to provide a service to a student. And so they would use that as part of their day, and that becomes a random moment of time study where they're measuring how much time. And if I'm getting this wrong, Dr. Sternheim will jump in, but
No, we would receive an email
Right.
and we were essentially would have to report what we were doing during that random moment in terms of servicing students.
I'm sure that's really important. For
So, so we notify our staff to be aware that they need to look for these random emails that are safe emails, Mr. Erickson, that we have to respond to within a window of time to accurately report our interaction with our learners.
this all goes into that big calculation that gives us some medical access funding.
I wonder if we can do the same thing and test the state to see how fast they.
Reciprocal. Okay. Let's move to the community eligibility provision for Fairview Elementary School.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So the community eligibility provision has been around a long time in Pennsylvania. Many school districts participate. I think roughly, I'm going to give very rough numbers, probably about half the school districts, I should say not districts, half the buildings, because again, it can be building specific, do participate. In Franklin County, several districts do at some level, whether it's fully, for example, for Fayette Meadow, Chambersburg would be some of their buildings, primarily elementary buildings. What this does is this is really a system that's set up by the state that says, once your free and reduced population has reached a certain level, you can participate in the community eligibility program. And what you do by that is they actually give you a multiplier. And so once you're over 60%, the multiplier essentially will cover the remaining costs in that building. And so effectively what you can do is you can offer a free lunch to all students and get fully reimbursed then by the state, how the process works. A lot of districts do this one building at a time, depending on the levels. If the levels are, if they dip, if they go below 60%, we're still allowed to keep the program in place for 3 years. So again, it wouldn't be just a 1-year event, it would be a 3-year event at a minimum for that building. Already in Pennsylvania, we offer free lunches, free breakfast for all students. We already, of course, participate in the free and reduced lunch program with other students who qualify as well. This would have some advantages. It would actually probably increase participation in the building itself. It would reduce parent costs. Those parents who have to pay for the meals would not have a cost associated. It would probably reduce some of our school debt as well for school meals. There's really, from a financial perspective, there's not a downside. We did look at all of our schools. Predominantly the elementaries typically have a higher percentage than middle school and high school. Unfortunately, those schools don't come close to qualifying. It would actually become a pretty good financial hit to the food service department. We even looked at grouping. You're allowed to actually group the schools. So you could take a school that's much higher with other lower schools in terms of free and reduced percentages and try to group them to see. But again, even under that scenario, which would be a better scenario, it was still about a $25,000 loss to our food service department per month. So it just didn't really make financial sense in that case. But right now, based on all the information we have, Fairview would be the one school that would qualify for CEP. And so our recommendation would be to approve that program for us to apply. We have until June 30th of this year to apply for next year.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Oh,
go
yes,
ahead,
ma'am.
go ahead.
The third, the actual memo, so it'd be the third thing that we can look at,
Okay.
okay? Clear down at the bottom, what about the other schools in the district? The last sentence. Shouldn't that say we're gonna continue to review the free and reduced population for the other schools?
It should, yes.
And determine in the future those schools?
Correct.
Shouldn't say district, should
It should not say districts.
Okay.
It should say schools. You're absolutely
Just
correct.
jumped out at me.
No, you're right. I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Should be a proofreader.
I thought that sometimes. I do, can't,
I wouldn't have never picked
people
that.
used to hand me stuff to, proofread.
But no, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. That should say other schools for the district.
Okay.
itself. Correct.
Okay.
I think the
Go ahead.
staff should be commended for looking into this. Times are tough. Prices are going up. You have 3 or 4 kids in one school. A lot of money. If you can save the parents, a good idea. Just community sends a lot of money to the state. Nice to get some back.
Yeah, if you know, I guess what I know about school, childhood hunger, anytime you have an opportunity to feed kids, I can't vote against that, because do we have issues more serious than I think people would know that they are. A lot of childhood hungers, and not just in schools, that in all types of environments, I'll say. So it can't be always a good thing to feed
There's
kids.
a lot of folks in this community that live paycheck to paycheck. If we can help a little bit, good for us.
Absolutely. So the motion is to approve the community eligibility provision.
So moved.
Second,
Any additional questions for Dr. Ho? Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain just because I would benefit from this. Is it Fairview?
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow, speaking of food, next we are going to look at the food prices for 20 or meal prices for the 2024-25 school year. Dr. Osman.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, and speaking of inflation and meal prices, as costs go up, so do our costs go up in the food service world. We do try to take advantage of as many items as we can. For example, the food service director is always taking advantage of the free commodities that are available out there at the federal government level. In fact, she's continually calling them on a regular basis. We use consortium bidding and pricing, which we're required to do with federal funds, obviously. A good bit of our revenues do come in from the federal fund side. But based on what we're looking at for our financials next year, we are recommending an increase. I believe it is a nickel for each of the different meal prices. And that's continuing to assume that I'm 99% certain that breakfast is going to remain free across all the districts in Pennsylvania. That's our understanding now through the legislation. And of course, based on our application and potential for the state approving Fairview, then obviously that school would not have a cost for lunch either. But this would just require a nickel increase for the others. We're still going to have a slight deficit probably in our food service area, but sometimes we end up making that up again through free commodities and other things of that nature.
Okay. So motion is to approve our meal prices for the 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Waste management for 24 through 27, multi-year contract. Yes.
Good that it follows the food service process. So, and speaking of which, our food service department actually does pick up a share of this, by the way. I should make mention of that they actually do pay. Don't hold me to the number, but I want to say it's probably in that 40 or 50% range, but somebody's going to correct me when I hear that. But we do run through a calculation where they're actually paying a share of this because they should be paying a share for that. It's all part of the food service cost. Our existing agreement is up. We did put this out to bid. We did have 4 companies that bid on this, which was good to see. Very strong participation. I think all but one of the companies actually came out to the bid opening, which again was not necessarily usual, but we appreciate that. We appreciated their interest. I think we gave you the different results there in the admin section there as well. This would require us to change companies, but that's okay. We're prepared to make that change. It's slightly more than what we paid this year, but not very much. We're talking maybe, somewhere around that $3,000-4,000 range. We're actually paying, we ended up in the current agreement, we had actually had a mid-year correction because of some fuel surcharges. The board approved to pay a little bit more than what the original contracts were from 3 years ago. So that has adjusted things a little bit, but now we have new agreements here for your discussion.
Okay.
So we didn't get a bid from Waste Management?
We did not, sir.
Okay.
I think in prior years we have, but we did not this time. Yeah. And they are close by. They have a landfill, of course, over near.
So the motion is to approve the attached waste management contract for 24 through 27 with Parks Garbage Service.
Satisfaction guaranteed to double your garbage. So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Let us.
Any additional questions about the contract
Thank you.
here? Okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
And now we move to financial business and we have school year, requisitions through property assessment changes.
Yes, sir.
Let's
So
do
what
let's
we
do the
tried to do-
requisitions first.
Okay. Requisition first. Okay. Yes, sir. You want to do 1 through 4, just number 1, 2, 3?
Just you can do 1 through 4.
1
yeah.
through 4,
Mhm.
okay. So what we try to do is, if you remember at the last time at the prior board meeting where we approved the budget, we said we would try to go ahead and put these in batches and then try to notify you that they were out there to take a look at. I don't think anybody wanted to open them up on Friday night and look at them and have a wonderful weekend. But so we did try to do that as best we could. As we received those coming in from the building levels, we approved those and reviewed them and then sent them into the board. And I believe Ms. Hennikel was really good about helping us out to notify the board members that they were available out there to take a look at. So we're hoping that process helped a little bit better. Again, I know it's a large number and we're not going to be done. We're going to still be waiting for buildings, put more in, and we'll have some, I'm sure at the June 25th board meeting as well for you to review.
All of these expenses have been budgeted now
Right.
within the budget.
They are, yeah. So, yeah, what we do is we go through the process where the buildings go through and take their budgets that were already approved. They're going through then and then meeting that, putting it through the requisition process itself. So the good news is, you have the building secretaries reviewing it, you have principals reviewing it, and then you have the business office reviewing.
Okay, thank you. So I guess the motion would be to approve, and we have the different dates here, requisitions, upload, 5/29/24, 5/24, 6/10/24, and 6/10/24, 2. There a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
And then the property assessment changes?
Yes, sir. So these are generated typically out of the county assessor's office. These are oftentimes based on an appeal by the property owner. So through that appeal process, the county will often determine what the revised number might be. In some cases, there is not a revision. Recommendation is to continue with the existing assessed value, but in some cases they do reduce it. In the event of for example, a faith-based group, if it's a church, what have we, they will often go ahead and make them tax exempt. What happens typically with a property is if one, for example, if one church or one group owns that property and sells it to another one, it actually becomes taxable then until they apply for an appeal to have that changed back into a tax exempt status. So that's why sometimes you'll see, a local ministry or group of that nature, you'll see them here on the assessment. That's because they must have sold the building at some point, and now they're asking for it to go ahead and go back into tax exempt status. So again, if you have any questions, we could try to go ahead and get the answers for you on those, but these were pretty normal. Oftentimes, if we have very significant cases, we're bringing you that information far ahead of time. We're talking, giving you an updates on those things. We've had those in previous years, and our threshold has typically been about a net of $30,000. If there's a $30,000 change, is when we're often really getting our solicitor and things of that nature involved in the process to make sure that our interests are protected through the appeal process as well.
Well, if I'm reading this correctly, of all the assessment changes, only one of them was a real change.
That's what- like,
Yeah, there's a couple that are very small, but again, it's not very significant.
Okay.
And again, those are assessed values, so at 1961 assessed values.
So the motion is to approve the attached property assessment changes.
Second.
Okay. Any additional questions for Dr. Hostman about the property assessment? Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay. And now we move to Clayton comments. Clayton cabinet comments, anyone? The good of the order.
I just want to read one thing. This is dated April 12th, 2024. These are from a number of Maori students. Dear Study Island, we found an error in the flashcards on text structure, blue ribbon, and 4th grade. The flashcard was about Abraham Lincoln. We are concerned that when it says in 1825 he contested to become president, we have evidence that he contested to become president in 1834. If you could please fix it, that would be great. Hello, my name is Naja, and I am the specialist assigned to your case. This is Study Island now. I'm happy to report that thanks to your students, we have corrected the verbiage of the flashcard and have published it for all to use. Thank you for all the helpful resources. We were able to use those documents to ensure the correct date is included for all learners in Study Island. The new flashcard update is as follows. In 1834, he won his first political office in the Illinois State Legislature. Special thanks to Mia, Carly, Muhammad, Keeson, Tara, Jackson, Caitlin, Lily, Rose, and Addison. It's been my pleasure assisting you. If you have additional questions or concerns, please email us. Hello, Brenda. This is the teacher, Ms. Zell, Brenda Zell. I'm glad this issue was resolved by your fourth grade class. Please thank them for the very well-written letter, and we appreciate their feedback, which has helped us change the Edmentum platform for all fourth grade learners. This is like national. This is for fourth grade learners all across our nation. Not just here in Wayne, national. It has been such a pleasure assisting you. All thank you for choosing Study Island. Below is a link, survey link that you blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so kudos to Ms. Sell and all those fantastic students who helped to fix things up to make it better for all learners across our nation.
Those kids are cooking.
Outstanding. All right. All right. Any board comments? Anyone?
I would just like to comment on graduation. The young man who was the last to receive his diploma, and I believe he was special needs. And when the entire senior class stood up and cheered for him, I cried. I mean, what a fantastic moment to end our graduation this year. Can't commend them enough.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other board member? All right. Well, in that case, we will adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
I.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.